Hi guys, welcome to the Unbox Your Gift mentoring program mindset series. In this particular video, I want to start off with the greatest technological invention we have currently that we use consistently. And that is your computer, right? What can we not do with a computer? We can create presentations, we can write books on it, we can find information, we can search for information, we can learn, we can progress. But all that stuff is pretty much useless from a computer if it's not plugged in. And the same rings true for your own mind. Your mind is one of the greatest assets that you have, if not the greatest asset, but it's pretty much useless if it's not plugged in. Now, what do I mean by that? Quite simply, tell me if any of these scenarios, phrases, words ring true for you. Oh, I can't do that. I wish I could do that. I mean, gee, it's just hard. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know how to do that. But what do I do? I don't know. Does any of that ring true for you? You know, I don't know, constantly saying that, or I wish I could. Some people would say that's negative thinking, right? But I think it's more than just negative thinking. I think it's mental laziness. Because you're not just being negative, which is, maybe it is true though. Maybe it is you can't ride a horse, maybe you can't ride a motorcycle, maybe you can't do calligraphy, whatever it may be. But by saying, oh, I can't do that, I don't know, I wish I could, just basically releases responsibility and creates mental laziness. It takes you off the hook, so to speak. Imagine if you had the computer search engine and you typed in, I can't do that, or I wish I could, or I could never do that. If you typed any of those phrases in, what would spit back out at you from Google? Maybe a book title with one of those titles, but nothing of any benefit to you, nothing to support or encourage or progress your thinking. But if you typed instead into the search engine, how can I ABC, now the search engine will come back to you with ways of doing this and doing that and doing it that one, reading that book, getting that blog. There'll be information and resources. It's the same thing that's true with your mind. When you say the statement, I don't know, I wish I could, it's a statement that kind of numbs your brain, that just doesn't look for anything. But if you asked your brain, how can I get on a motorcycle and ride one? How could I be able to approach calligraphy? Now your mind is looking for resources to try and get you an answer to the question that you've just posed to it. But when you're mentally lazy and you just release the responsibility of trying to find out some information, then your brain just follows suit with what you've commanded it to do. Now let me give you an example. Colonel Sanders. Colonel Sanders lost his business at the age of 66, and we went back onto welfare benefits. Now, he didn't stop at that. He went to this person and said, would you buy my fried chicken recipe? He went to that person and said, would you buy my fried chicken recipe? He went to this person. He went to 1,009 people until the one person said, yeah, after 1,009 times. Now at the age of 66, most people just retire, don't they? Just, okay, it's all done. That was the best that I can do. And he went out to become a multimillionaire. Now, I'm not saying that so that having money is the end all and be all and the measurement of success. We all have different measurements of success, but it is a measurement of success. And it's for him to have asked a different question. How can I sell my recipe? How can I approach people? Rather than, it's just not going to happen, I don't know what to do. Different question gave him a different level of result, but persistence followed it through with him. So my invitation to you is, do you catch yourself kind of being mentally lazy? Do you catch yourself going, I don't know, or anything along that statement that lets you off the hook? And sometimes it happens not just when we say it out loud to ourselves, but it happens in the internal dialogue of our mind when we whisper it to ourselves, when we're talking to someone, when we see something. And that then is probably one of the worst times, because when we speak to ourselves, we don't just say, I don't know. We put emotion into it. I don't know, and there's the emotion and the voice and the tone of the voice kind of creates that even more of a prison of, I can't do that. So the invitation is to catch yourself out. But not just once. How often does that happen in your mind without you even realizing it happens? It's like someone who goes to the gym And when you go to the gym, you want to sculpt your body, and most people go and lift weights. So say you've got a 5 kilogram weight that you're lifting with. The week after you might do 6, then the week after 7 and 8, and so on and so forth, until you get the muscle mass that you're looking for. Now, what would happen if in 6 months' time you didn't do anything? Because in 6 months you didn't do anything. Gravity would kind of take over and your muscle would not be up there anymore. True? So in order to build that muscle and consistently build it, it's not one-off times that you catch yourself, it's the consistent times. So it's about building your mental skill and your mental awakening through catching yourself. When do you become mentally lazy? So there's 2 things you need to do. Number 1, when you hear the internal voice or your own voice out loud saying, releasing responsibility, I can't do that, or I could never do that. How do you change that statement or comment into a question that's going to activate and stimulate your thinking? Just like you would on Google, just like you would on any search engine, what would you type to get back an answer? What do you have to tell yourself in your mind? What do you have to type into your mind to get an answer? To get to that answer and to get to the next one and the next one, to progress your thinking. And then secondly, how do you catch yourself constantly? To be able to not do it once in a while, but consistently to be able to do it. Does that make sense? So mental laziness, the remedy to getting over it, find out how often you're doing it, then change that statement to a question to activate thinking. See you in the next video.